Hey there, it's me, Kathy. We had a new restaurant opened up here in Fayetteville last week, and I went there for lunch, and it's called Bahama Breeze. You probably have heard of it. It's a chain restaurant, but they had a Cuban sandwich, and that's one of my favorite sandwiches, so that's what I ordered, and it was delicious. And then when I got home, I remembered that I had some pork chops some boneless pork chops in my freezer, and some ham and some Swiss and some pickles in my refrigerator, and I bought some nice rolls. And today we're gonna have a crispy Cuban sandwich, and it's gonna be yummy and fun, and let's do it. We're gonna make our crispy pork cutlets out of these beautiful pork chops. And first thing we're gonna have to do is pound them out. I've covered them with another sheet of saran wrap so the pork pieces don't go flying all over the place when I pound them. And now let's do it. Gotta hit them pretty hard. I think that's a good thickness. There's the thickness. Now we're gonna do the other ones, and then we're gonna trim that fat off and cut them into roll-sized pieces. Our pork is all pounded out. And now it's time to trim it up. Our cutlets are all formed up and trimmed up. And I only have 4 rolls, but big, 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 small, small. Maybe we can double these ones up and we'll make it work. And now we're gonna set up our breading station. Before we bread these cutlets, we're gonna season them with some salt and pepper. On both sides. This hand. Okay. And as you can see, we have flour, eggs, and these are fresh breadcrumbs. And the first place that the pork goes is in the flour. And we're going to use the wet hand, dry hand method, so coat it up with flour, shake it off a little bit, and into the egg, wet hand, coat it up nicely. Let it drip off a bit, and now into the breadcrumbs. And what I like to do is do the top. Pat it on, which gives pressure on the bottom, which makes the bottom breadcrumb stick. Sides. Then we flip it over and make sure it's very well coated. And here's our first pork cutlet for our crispy Cuban. Our pork cutlets are all breaded up, and now we're going to get some oil heated up in a skillet and fry them up till they're nice and crispy. We have a skillet, about 1/2 inch of oil and 1/4 inch of oil, and we've got it on medium plus a point temperature. And as soon as it gets hot, we're going to put the pork cutlets in and fry them up in batches. Our oil is getting wavy, and I don't know if it's hot enough, but let's check it out. Oh yeah. I don't think we can fit all of these in one batch, but we can try. We may have to do them in batches. give it a shot. Yeah, the only one left I have is big, so we're gonna have to do that one last. So we're gonna do this for about 7 or 8 minutes and then flip them over and temp them up and make sure they're done and crispy, and they're gonna be yummy. Okay, not as brown as I like, but I think they're done. So yep, 172. Transfer these to a plate. Line your paper towels. Our crispy pork cutlets are perfect for our sandwich. These bigger ones are a little bigger than the rolls, but we'll make them fit. And this sandwich is going to have pork and ham and pickles and Swiss cheese. And I like to make my Cuban sandwiches with what I call a Mojo sauce. And the one I'm gonna make today is gonna be a little bit different from the one I used to make, but it's gonna be so yummy. Our Mojo sauce is going to start with some mayonnaise. I know Cubans are mostly just mustard, but I like a little edge. And here comes the mustard. Almost equal parts. And then here comes my hot honey that I made with hot peppers from my garden. And that gives it some heat and some sweet. And that's the way I like it. I used to do chipotle and honey with my Mojo sauce, but this is gonna be a little bit different. And it's gonna be tasty as heck. And we're gonna blend this up well. We're gonna take our ciabatta rolls and cut them in half. Now, these tops are kind of mounded, so what I'm gonna try to do is press it down. Nope, it's breaking. So what I'm gonna do is flatten it out, because we're gonna cook the cut sides. We're gonna build our sandwiches on the cut sides, on the inside, and butter the cut sides and grill them up. Now it's time to spread our rolls with some of our Mojo sauce. It's a good part of the sandwich, so we're gonna make sure we use a good amount. No dripping. Okay, we're gonna continue on till all of our rolls, our Mojo sauce is spread on our rolls. And now it's time for some slices of baby Swiss. And we're gonna... Our pork cutlets are on, looking crispy, smelling yummy. And now it's time for some pickle slices. We'll put those on top of the pork. Pickles are on. Lots of them. Use less if you don't like so many pickles. Now comes some slices of uncured honey ham. because I had that little bit of leftover Swiss cheese, I'm gonna make them cheesy. I'm gonna just add these because I don't know what I would do with just a couple of slices of Swiss cheese. And now, I did this wrong. We're gonna put our tops on. We are gonna have to weigh these big bad boys down when we fry them in our frying pan. And I know just what to do with that. And here are assembled crispy Cuban sandwiches. We're gonna spread these rolls with some softened butter. And this is what our butter looks like on this side. And we're gonna finish up with these two. We're gonna have to do our sandwiches 2 at a time in this pan. And we're gonna put them in buttered side down. This pan is over medium heat. And because I could probably fit all 4, but it's gonna be hard to flip them over if I do that. So I'm not going to. So what I am going to do right now is weight them down with my tea kettle that's half filled with water. So that'll be a good weight. Press them down a little bit. And we'll cook till they're brown on the bottom side and the cheese is melted. Our Cubans are ready to flip over. So now we're going to butter this side. This butter is not as soft as the other butter was, but it will melt. Okay, ready to flip. I'm going to use this piece of parchment that I put underneath the tea kettle. Straighten out the sandwich. Beautifully browned. You're losing a pickle. That's no good. Put it back in. Get in there, you. Okay, I lost it. And now we're going to put it down on this side. Again, like I say, straighten it out, shape it up. And we'll get this piece. That one stayed together better. And this is going back on. This is going back on too. Put these together. Press them down. And we'll cook them till they're browned up. And then we'll cut them open and see what they look like in the middle. Our first crispy Cuban sandwich is done. The other side is nicely browned. And so we're going to take this off the heat. This one needs to brown up a little more. So we're going to leave that on for another minute. I think it must be hotter in the middle of the pan where the other one was closer to. So we're going to let this go another minute and then we're going to do the other two and then we're going to serve them up. Okay, number 2 is ready to come out. Browned and melty and looking so yummy. And now it's time for 3 and 4 to come up. While the other 2 Cubans cook, we are going to serve this one like we would serve it. And the first thing we're going to do is cut it. Did it. Here's what we look like on the inside. Melty and porky and hammy and cheesy and pickly. and it's going to be so good. Here's what we look like on our plate. Nice big fat pork and cheese and pickles. We already went through this. Thought we'd serve it up with some chips, or you could do French fries if you wanted to. And now we're gonna take a bite and see how it is. Thank you for joining me while I played with my pork chops. And here's our crispy Cubano. And now we're gonna take a bite. That came out so good. And I have done this before, and it's my favorite. But thanks for joining me, and we will see you again soon.